It feels dirty to figure that out, you know? I was given this sacred information by my own mind. Hey there. We're back. We're back doing the Corley story. The donkey beater story. The donkey beater story is a method of making sure that your language knows how to do reference tracking. English handles it a little clunkily, but it's not quite like Kea, because Kea happens to have no genders outside of animate or inanimate. And the problem is, almost all of the nouns in this story are animate. Anything of importance is animate. And we don't break down any distinctions in the animate gender. So, we're gonna have fun with this. So, let's get back to translating. I realized that I broke my own grammar rule that I had strived so hard to have. This phrase right here translates something to the effect of, why do you beat your donkey? Donkey is in the genitive case because it is interpreted as owning this phrase or this verb. So, I have it up here that there's an auxiliary verb. When we're talking about this, my first thought just goes to plop the copula in there, right? Yes, Majahaja, the donkey owns being beat on. It comes from, hey, this action might go on as long as this object exists. That's why you do the genitive. Problem is, at some point, just doing the verb without an auxiliary verb kinda ended up sounding weird to speakers of Kea. So they would plop an auxiliary verb. So, in the first sentence, it's return. The man returns to hitting to the donkey's beating, and then because the verb is a verb of motion, it requires a prepositional phrase. Marking still used as a genitive, or has it become exclusively for full marking? Yes, the genitive is used for possession. If you take an instantaneous verb, make that a telic, it is durative. Does this make sense? So you ask, is this genitive still a genitive? Does it still function as a genitive? It does. But later in history, I think it would be interesting if we take like Meyama Roi, which would mean donkey beating, and at some point in time just have that change into Meya Roi, which would mean turn that into an imperfective. Now obviously there's like no sound changes that apply, but we could say that the genitive form of the object could mark past imperfective, where the simple tense or simple aspect or whatever on the verb is used. I think it would be an interesting point of contention where, not a point of contention, but an interesting point where the subject has to be marked for something and the object has to be marked. So to mean that it's an imperfective, a past tense imperfective. Long story short, the people who speak this dialect of Kea take themselves very highly. They believe that they are the best, and that they are the perfect version of the culture. So I think it would be just so ironic if the perfect people in the culture have the most scuffed tense system ever. Okay, so long-winded way of saying, this is in the genitive. We put the donkey in the genitive to mean it takes place over an amount of time. So, let's take this next sentence. The donkey beater said, beating is all the donkey knows. I must beat him until he learns how to behave. Okay. Me yamamo Eapo, the donkey beater, the donkey beating person, said this, which is is donkey animate or inanimate? Is this a point of like personal interpretation? Like, can we say that the donkey beater is like demoting it Can we say that into an inanimate class? Because that would make it easier to differentiate, especially between speakers. So we could say that the neighbor puts it in the animate, and the donkey beater puts it in the inanimate. I think that would be interesting. I think that would be an interesting way to characterize. A donkey equals animate, a donkey being beaten is inanimate. Huh. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So let me figure that out a little bit more. Let's think about how that might work. So we can say that animate nouns switch animacy, but inanimate nouns do not. So things that are normally inanimate do not switch animacy, but animate nouns do. Yeah. So Aja Hadra. Yes. Yes. So what the point of Kea is okay, so you got me. Kea, the daughter, is a proto-language. I was working on the Kea family tree earlier. But Kea is a proto-language to a bunch of other languages that are going to come after it. And if I give it multiple strategies to do multiple different things, if I can make a lot more complexity in the proto-language, it means that the daughter languages can be a lot more variable. So like if I say that say at some point the animacy distinction becomes morphological, so like it becomes an affix rather than just a particle. Well, you could say that at some point, if one of the daughter languages of Kea starts to prefer putting animate arguments at the beginning of a sentence, we could do some like direct inverse systems. But say that at some point the language grows out of that, and that direct inverse system ends up becoming like, I don't know, role marking. So that's an idea that I've had before with Osugitri, the other language on this channel, the other language that I frequently will work on. So like we could do that. We could get rid of person marking, or not person marking, but role marking in daughter languages entirely. The ones that, like, maybe the one that prefers nominal tense aspect and mood marking, like that could just lose role marking entirely. Okay. After that productive time, I hope you enjoyed me ranting about my my grammar and the theoretical things behind it. Yeah, definitely check the next video when it comes out. But I hope you all enjoyed. Do all the things, like, subscribe, hit that bell, and make your grandpa proud today. Make your grandpa proud. All right. Have a good one.